and 94.5 FM. Rob Thompson. Carl Schoening. Halftime.
It's halftime here on San Antonio Sports Star. Back to good old-fashioned local programming here in San Antonio. I'm Carl Schoening. He's Rob Thompson.
Yep.
James Pledger and Edwin back there dancing.
Not together.
No, Edwin, we got to see your moves. You know, no, it's all pledge. It's all pledge. If you want to catch us dancing and you're out of your car. You don't want to
catch us dancing.
Hey, well, once you leave your car and the conversation continues, you can join us on sasportstar.com. We got a new setup on our StreamYard. It also multi-streams out to Facebook and YouTube. Just searching halftime today's date.
And Periscope.
So, hey, while you're scrolling, you can be listening to us. Thank y'all for tuning in. It's Friday. Thank God. I know everybody's excited about the weekend, but if you're a Texas NFL fan, this weekend's sort of a little lame. You had Texans last night. You got Cowboys on Monday. What are you going to do Sunday? There's no game to occupy 4 hours of your time. What do you got here?
Ryder Cup.
What are you talking about?
What are you kidding? This is a great weekend for Texas fans because we don't have to fight with anything else. We can enjoy the rest of the NFL slate without having to split our attention. My game already happened. The Cowboys game in until Monday. I get to enjoy the entirety of the NFL weekend.
So you're saying you're a red zone guy?
Or, a RuPub guy where I can go catch the NFL Sunday ticket and see all the games.
So not everybody, believe it or not, is a huge NFL fan. They have their team. They watch their team.
Lies.
And then they enjoy whatever section of their Sunday their team is not occupying.
Like leaving the house and not watching other football?
Yes.
That sounds horrible.
That doesn't even compute.
Well,
football's on. You can't leave.
There are plenty of people that, hey, Saturday, of course, it's going to be Texas A&M, Texas Tech versus the Longhorns.
I've heard Saturday is for the boys.
Saturday is for the boys, but not the Cowboys, because the Cowboys are playing on Monday against the Eagles.
Oklahoma State's not playing Saturday?
I assume they are.
If you're looking for that, you can sure find them.
Hey, but yeah, if you guys want to get a hold of us, there's a couple ways. If you want to talk to us the old traditional way, you can call into the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines, 210-656-3776. That's 210-656-ESPN. Or you can leave us a comment on Facebook or YouTube. B says, good afternoon, halftime. I want to see that dance-off, especially between Edwin and Pledger. That would be fun.
Anybody. That will be no good. See, you encouraged this, Carl.
Oh, of course
you started
this.
So now you have to deal with it.
Michael Menes joins us on Facebook Live. Did somebody say RuPub? Oh, yes, we did. How was the RuPub last night? You were out there, right, Pledge?
A lot of fun.
All right. Always a lot of fun. And Jonathan C. says, Saturdays are for the boys. Quote attributed to Abraham Lincoln. Believe everything you see on the internet, gentlemen.
What, he didn't say it?
Pretty sure he did.
How do we know he didn't? He was talking to Mary Todd, going, you know what? Mary Todd, we're not going to the play on Saturday. Saturday is for the boys. We'll go to the play on Monday night.
There was a game that we caught at the RuPub last night, or at least the Blitz crew did at the RuPub last night. You can't see James Pledger on screen all the time anymore, but you can catch Rob and I up close. You have to make sure you keep an eye on that. We want to have all your facial expressions, Pledge, especially when talking about the Houston Texans. 24-9, Carolina. Pretty much put it away in the second half. It was 7-6 at halftime. Not this halftime, obviously. We're talking about halftime of that game. And get this. You'll like this, Pledge. The Texans are 0-11 when trailing at halftime since 2020. Only the Jets that are 0-13 have more such losses without a win in that span. That's how you do it. Maybe I shouldn't have done that there. As Frank Valdez says, Pledger's too much energy to lose a dance-off.
Please, you encourage this. I know how to stop the Pledge dancing. Pledge, what did you think of your illustrious new head coach, David Culley?
Oh, yeah.
It is third quarter.
He did his job to perfection.
Oh, he did. You want to talk about little keys, little signs that show you a team is either by act or by
Willful ignorance
or by just apathy. You're a Houston Texan football fan. It is 7-6 at halftime. You get the ball to start the third quarter, and the offense moves the ball. You get over the 50. You get down to the 34. It's 4th and 4, and Culley decides to punt.
Could have been a 51-yard field goal.
It could have. You do something other than that. And I put it to you this morning. We were talking about it. When you do it, when a head coach goes, "Nah, you guys aren't good enough." Not only I have 3 teams on my team. I have a offensive team, I got a defensive team, and I got special teams. Well, the offensive team isn't good enough to go get me a touchdown, so you guys don't get to play anymore. My kicking team, well, they're not. I can't make a 51-yard field goal, so you don't get to play anymore. In fact, I'm in such no man's land that we're going to go ahead and take a 5-yard penalty, delay game, and back this thing up so we can punt. That is unforgivable in my mind.
That is not unforgivable. That was the playbook.
That's the problem. Because even if they had made it and marched on down and got a score, field goal, touchdown, whatever, they weren't going to win this game. I just found it very odd that you pull the rug out from underneath this young quarterback who had actually moved the ball and finally gotten themselves in a position to do something. Now delay a game, take a knee. Let's punt this thing. Let's see if we can get it inside the 5. That was a team that found out at that moment the goal is not the W.
And you appreciate that coaching now, Pledge, but next year we got to stop this tanking nonsense if you're the Texans, right?
Depends if they have a quarterback.
They've got one.
Davis Mills is their quarterback.
Sure.
Next year, you're not okay with them trying to go for 7 wins?
Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are 656-3776, 656-ESPN. You got a football Sunday in front of you. You got something to sound off. It is easy to reach out to us. We got Gary. Gary, man, what's up?
Well, like I said, I just was thinking that if your team is the Texans or the Cowboys, you might not have a game to look forward to on this weekend, but you got fantasy football, so you still got to watch
Gary, man,
see what your players do.
Here's the problem with that. Allow me to vent and apologize to every first draft number 1 pick fantasy football team across this great country. I had the number 1 pick, and I did it yet again. I drafted McCaffrey.
Damn you,
CFC,
Rob.
and the last time I had me some CFC, he spent half the season on the IR. I get him this year, and here it goes again. I don't blame him. I blame myself. I should have never drafted him. So I'm angry today. Angry.
Well, I drafted 6, and my league, they know I'm a Chiefs fan, so they kind of forced me to get a Chief early. So I take my home at 6.
I want you in my league.
Hey, we had Jason Minix do that. Minix did that this year in the Sports Star League.
Look at his record. It's as bad as mine.
Oh, are you 0-2?
Oh, easy.
Is he 0-2?
Oh, my team sucks.
Oh,
my team's horrible. And I can't even blame the McCaffrey draft on that one. That was all me. Best team I got was the auto draft team.
You see, I'm actually going to take advantage of being able to have a relaxing Sunday, set it and forget it truly, because I'm going up against RJ Ochoa. And last night, I knew neither one of us had fantasy players going, and I still checked my score 4 or 5 times. It's an addiction to check the screen and be like, okay, but I have Robbie Anderson on my bench. Okay, he only put up 1.3 points. Okay, good thing I didn't play him.
Well, he almost outscored McCaffrey, and he'll be walking tomorrow. He'll be on the field next week.
The fantasy god himself, Michael Jimenez, is the one who has Christian McCaffrey as, if I'm not mistaken, Pledge, you said there was some inside job there that our commissioner ended up with the number 1 overall pick. What say you now?
This is karma.
Still. Yeah, that's karma. That's all that is.
That's karma. Yeah.
He's getting what he had rightfully coming for trying to rig the draft.
Only put up 5 points last night. He's going up against Quinfinity Stone, as Quinn Hudson also could use a win. He's 0-2 in the San Antonio Sports Star Fantasy League.
You okay there, Rob?
I'm looking over the wreckage that is my fantasy season.
Which one?
All of it, man. Like I said, the one team that I'm competitive is my auto draft league.
And that's a shame.
That is it's a badge of honor, quite frankly, that I had the wisdom, the forethought to know, you're not very good at this. Let a computer do it. Go to sleep.
Hey, there was 19.5 points put up in our half point per reception league for Big Papi Medina as DJ Moore just balled out. He is the first Panther wide receiver with 100-plus reception yards in the first half of the game since Ted Ginn back in 2015.
Makes sense. I would have thought it was Steve Smith. But
Ted who?
I
Ginn,
remember that
Ginn,
game. That Ted Ginn game. I think he had one catch for like 80 yards.
I'm already thinking about the weekend. Rudy J's talking me into getting some gin. That's
Ted Ginn Jr. Last night, as the Texans game was on, a couple thoughts. First, I really missed and I wanted the Manning brothers on another channel because that game got really dull, and I would have liked the Manning brothers for an instance like that. And two, I flipped over to the App State Marshall game.
oh really?
When I think
App State's good.
Absolutely. And when you think of what App State is out in Boone, North Carolina, a university of moderate size, and Marshall, basically the same thing up there in West Virginia. And you think about the potential that we have here in San Antonio with schools that are roughly the same size as these two. App State is a football power, have been for as long as I can remember. We remember the beating of Michigan, what was that, about 10, 15 years ago? They go up in conference a couple years back and they win the conference again. I look at what UTSA is building. I look at what UIW is building, and then I think about App State. If App State can do it, if they can get there and be a powerhouse amongst their peers, be the biggest fish in their pond, that's about all I can hope for. And if watching the environment at that game, keep in mind, this is not high D1 football. This is a group of 5. Let's hope we get an invite if we're undefeated and kick everybody's ass so much that we get a tension type league. But watching those football games, there's plenty of room in the football world for non-Power 5 football. That was a fun football game.
Was that in Boone last night?
Yes, it was.
Have you ever been to Boone?
I have been around Boone. I've been through Boone. I've never seen App State. I don't know where it is, but I have. It's a little tiny town. There was nothing there.
I did sidelines for Texas State a couple of years back, and that was a 2-hour bus ride through the mountains.
Beautiful.
There's no easy way to get to Boone, North Carolina, but once you get there, you kind of feel the small town vibe. It's a nice, cool college town, and yeah, they love their football. And on top of that, they're one of the best teams and one of the best group of 5 conferences in the Sun Belt. So they know how to recruit, and that is a big key. And San Antonio has a little bit better of an advantage in terms of being in a major market, being able to get there easily. And I don't think it's too far away from UTSA really putting themselves on the map. They can really start this weekend knocking off an undefeated American Athletic Conference team in the Tigers, Memphis.
2:30, ESPNU, correct? This is a national game. This is the biggest game of the week, of the year, of the season for UTSA. Now, next week will be equally as big for sure. But when we started this season, I think most people looked at the Illinois game on the road as a loss, a rebound game. And then here we go. The conference begins against the only other team that looks like in conference that has the speed and the seasoning, the age to really compete with UTSA after what we saw last season. This is going to be one heck of a well-played football game. I hope the defense travels as UTSA takes one of the better defenses in all the United States up there to take on a very fast Memphis team.
If I weren't doing UTSA volleyball at the same time, I would be watching it, but it will be recorded, and I'm sure I will be hearing all of the updates there from the Convocation Center, because it might be a lot of dual screen going on at the La Tech UTSA volleyball match.
And as we're setting the table, let's talk about UIW for a second. Eric Morris has his football team playing well and welcoming home, at least welcoming back for a short time, Frank Wilson, head coach at McNeese State, coming back to San Antonio. He formerly is the UTSA head football coach who left a year, almost now 3 years now, just about, to take over the McNeese job, and Jeff Traylor taking the UTSA program and running with what Frank Wilson had a big role in developing. Frank's tenure will be, just kind of looked at as I think a spot before Jeff Traylor, who I think by the time he's done here will be the coach that will be every coach in the future, at least for the next 10 years, will be measured against Coach Traylor's success if we can't hold on to him. But Frank Wilson certainly has a good place in UTSA's football history. I think he held the place well, recruited well, and grew the reputation that Jeff Traylor has now grabbed and really expanded. Frank Wilson coming in playing against a team that he would have never even deemed, available, possible to play when he was at UTSA. Maybe they can do something to UIW and Coach Morris. That's going to be a good game Saturday morning down at Vincent Stadium there on the UIW campus.
Yeah, on the other side of that, we're going to hear about Eric Morris's biggest victory in his coaching career as he knocked off Texas State last weekend. Kef Chardello joining us at 12:30. So be sure you tune in as he hosts the podcast for Texas State football. Win now or get bent. Well, the Bobcats got bent. And we're going to talk about the fallout of that one before they take on Eastern Michigan this weekend as they hit the road as well. Texas State trying to go 2-2 in non-conference.
Kef is of the Austin American Statement. He's got a good college football mind, too. Lots of questions to ask. He follows Texas State, but certainly knows the rest of the state. And Texas hosting Tech. You got TCU and SMU, the Metroplex battle. Lots of good college football this weekend on the heels of what's going to be an interesting Sunday because, as we've already discussed, if you're a Texan fan, you're a Cowboy fan, your menu is wide open. You have many, many choices. Let's get you going and caught up on all your headlines. While you're going through the drive-thru, pick me up something sweet. Bring me back a ice cream sundae or something like that. I'm getting a little hungry. We know you're driving around getting your lunch. You need to have the info to come back and talk with your employees the right way. Here it comes.
Countdown.
I'll take the grilled chicken sandwich.
I'll take that.
Headline 2, the 76ers officially signed their 53rd pick overall. The 53rd pick overall in this previous draft, Charles Bassey.
Charles Bassey.
It's a 3-year contract. First year's fully guaranteed. Second year partially guaranteed.
He, formerly of St. Anthony High School here in San Antonio, previous to that, Nigeria, came to San Antonio as 6. First time I saw him, it was actually in Dallas. I was at a showcase all-star thing with my youngest son, and standing around in the it's college level skill kids that are coming in from all over the state for what's known as the Pangos All-American Camp. So we're up at the Pangos camp, and we're standing in line getting registered, and I look around, and behind me is a 6'10" high school kid. Look at a child's face and a 6'10" body, wearing a St. Anthony High School t-shirt. For those unaware, St. Anthony is a TAP school here in town. They play against Central Catholic and Antonian, and at that point, they were all in the same conference or the same division. And turn around and you see a 6'10" kid on the opposing school squad, you're going to take notice. Turns out, kid came from Nigeria and was everything you thought a 6'10" could be. He went from unheard of to a top 10 national ranked high school player in the matter of 2 days. He played one game. By the afternoon, all the ESPN types had flown in to see him. Their 3 primary high school dudes were in the camp by Saturday morning. Long road between here and there, ends up graduating high school out of Memphis, signs with Western Kentucky, and is now a Philadelphia 76er. And as a second-round pick, he will make that roster.
Oh, yeah. Well, guaranteed money year one. Mm-hmm. 3 years is a big deal for somebody who's at 53. And I know Charles Bassey was getting some love potentially in the first round, fringe into the early second. So the fact that the 76ers got him at 53, I'm sure they are elated.
2 consecutive drafts for the Sixers out of Texas. Tyrese Maxey and a little bit of Bassey. I don't think he'll ever claim San Antonio. He had a cup of coffee here, but we'll claim him.
We'll do it for him. All right. Headline 1. This one also comes from Shams. 90% of NBA players are currently fully vaccinated, sources told The Athletic. Player vaccination rate has been rising as training camps open next week. In fact, I believe it's still not up, but even DeJounte Murray put on his Instagram yesterday that he got the first vaccine shot. There was a picture of him getting the shot. He had a whole thing saying how he was going to be a leader. He wanted to wait and see how it affected athletes. But then when he found out that he needed it to really be fully involved with the team, he went ahead and got it. So definitely good on DeJounte and every other NBA player for making sure they do what's right and keeping their teammates and staff safe.
Now, we believe, though we do not know, that Kyrie is not vaccinated yet.
He was sitting in a vaccinated section of the WNBA game,
That's
which
good.
I would assume there's no exceptions.
Let's hope that's the case. We know up in Golden State, We've got at least one that's not vaxxed.
Andrew Wiggins.
You're running out of time, man. And the reason I bring up Kyrie, and let's hope he is vaxxed for lots of reasons, and Wiggins in Golden State, the reason we bring those two up is they're in states that you need to have a vax card to even walk into the building that you're going to play in. So without that, Wiggins only gets road games, and I guess Kyrie would be the same, but they do have some time to fix it. What I found interesting last night is, Carl, you posted the picture that DeJounte sent out that it was a screens grab, right?
I sent you something from Ty Yeager who did the screenshot. Yeah, and
so if I went to look on Twitter right now, I wouldn't find it because it's gone.
No, the screenshot is still up there.
But
DeJounte posted it on Instagram,
okay.
and he had a whole reasoning, which was also in the tweet that I sent you guys. But yeah, no reason as to why, and I'm sure he'll probably get, like everybody else, questions about the vaccination status and his reasoning behind it. But yeah, it's just probably tired of the people in his comments that are anti-vaxxers. I'm sure I would delete it too. It's like, I'm sorry I even brought it up, y'all. Yeah.
You don't have to brag about it. Just go get it. Uh-oh. Bradley and A. Bad news from Watkins. Missed practice today because he's in COVID-19. Calvin Watkins of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram telling us that we got some more COVID issues to deal
Bradley
with.
and I, another defensive end.
I'll tell you what, the revolving door. Can we just play linebackers? We'll have stand-up linebackers on that front line. We'll have 4 in front, 4 in back. It'll be like a jailbreak fire drill.
Man.
Dan Quinn sending 9 guys to the quarterback every down.
Cowboys will not be fully healthy this entire season because of COVID and obviously other reasons. But yeah, there's just going to be somebody with COVID every week.
It's crazy, but it makes sense that it's all coming out of the same room. All those D linemen spend way too much time in the room together, and they all seem to have cross-contaminated each other.
All righty, and headline 0. This comes straight from a Spurs press release, but Manu Ginobili will return to the Spurs as a special advisor to basketball operations. Very happy to have Manu back in any capacity. So many memories come back with good old Emmanuel.
That's a vague title. What's it again? The special
advisor to basketball operations.
So basically the Spurs are a basketball team. So just about everything they do would be an operation of such, right?
He's Manu Ginobili. He can do whatever he wants.
That's what I'm saying. But the idea behind this doesn't mean he's not a coach, although he will coach, at least in practices and individual drills. Why now? And what's he going to do? I want Manu at every opportunity. We want him front and center whenever but why? I'm really curious as to, is this a portent for a next step? Is he going to be involved with the Spurs, or is this going to be a Tim Duncan? Yeah, I'll hang with y'all for a while, but when I get bored, I'm going to go ahead and do my own thing.
He has an open door to whatever he wants in the entire city of San Antonio. If he wants to be a special advisor to radio operations, San Antonio Sports Stars doors are wide open for you, Manu. Come on in. I don't know what he knows about radio, but I'm sure it would make for good radio to have him talk about radio.
If he was to coach, do you think he would be able to coach himself? If he had a player like Manu was his first, second, third year, I wonder how Manu would handle it. I wonder if he would be as forgiving as Pop had to become in year 2.
It's so interesting to put ourselves in this situation where we kind of talk theoretically about, would a player make a good coach? I think Manu knows how to articulate things correctly, but you can never teach somebody how to be Manu Ginobili. That was such controlled chaos where occasionally the chaos would slip out and the pass would end up in the 5th row. And, and then every now and again, you would have this absolutely amazing once in a lifetime play. There were times where, you forget about how many there were, but only Manu could recover a loose ball, stumble to the corner, and knock down a 3 with a hand in his face kind of play where it's like, man, he's just that talented. And, I'm always happy to see Manu Ginobili back. Him and Tim do a whole bunch of bike riding around the hill country side of San Antonio, and I think they could probably still give us 10 minutes if we ever had to activate them.
That's the dream, isn't it?
One day.
One day, maybe the laws and rules of the NBA change. I'm very interested to see Manu's role. Is he going to be the guy in the gym to work out all these young wings? Is that why he's been signed to be here? because lots of guys played the position that he played. Tim spent the last 3 years working with LaMarcus and Pirtle, and we saw improvement from both. Let's hope that some of that Manu-ness rubs up on young Primo and helps new contracts in the way that some guys are looking to get signed, like Lonnie. Maybe a little bit of Manu helps Lonnie get paid.
Can we lock Manu, Lonnie, and Josh Primo and Devin Vassell while we're at it, all in a gym for the entire training camp? You guys just learn everything from Manu. It's like Yoda. You learn everything you can. He'll teach you all the Jedi mind tricks.
Learn it all, but the flop. Learn everything. Learn all that. Get the Euro down. Learn everything. Get into the rim. Don't learn the flop.
No, learn how to take charges from Derek White.
Derek White takes the charge.
He knows
Manu
how to do
gets
it.
the flop. I'm just saying, don't learn the flop.
Manu learned how to back off of the flop.
Well, it was because of fines were imminent.
Yeah, probably.
Because you brought that Euro-ness. And other than that, teach them all you know, man. Bring them Argentinian style to the San Antonio team, that complete, reckless, abandoned basketball. And I do believe the Spurs are going to need to play with all these young bucks, so I agree with that.
Yeah, you can never turn down wisdom, and Manu Ginobili definitely has a lot of wisdom to give. I would love to hear just his general thoughts on today's game, because he went through his rookie year, 02-03, all the way until, was it 2017, 2018, 2016, 2017? Geez, COVID makes me mess up all my years at this point. But either way, he played through an entire shift in basketball where, big men started stretching the floor and the increased role in guards. And now he's going to probably keep an eye on how the game's evolving and pass down his information and knowledge to the young ones. So very excited to have Manu Ginobili back. We're also very excited to have Kef Chardello come on. It's going to turn into a general topics conversation by the time the Bobcat season is done, the way it looks like. They lose to UIW. Kef Chardello is going to tell you what went wrong, how the Bobcats can bounce back. We're going to probably talk a little Raiders with the biggest Raiders fan I know, and he also gets into some good old general college football talk as well. Kef Chardello from the Austin American-Statesman joins us on the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines here on Halftime. Thank you for spending your midday break with us. This is San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
The college football tradition lives here with in-depth analysis and breakdowns from our team during the week of the Aggies, the Longhorns, UTSA, and more. Catch the gridiron action on Saturdays with live play-by-play from around the country. Bowl season. Let's go! The college football playoff and the national championship comes to life right here. Love it! On San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Rudy J here, and I want to tell you about Enrique Custom Vision. Dr. Enrique has performed over 58,000 laser vision corrections, and he's the only Z-LASIK trainer in the area. He treats nearsightedness, farsightedness, and even astigmatism. And all procedures are blade-free and pain-free, and they just take seconds per eye. Get the vision you deserve without glasses and contacts. Call 354-2020 today to get the Enrique difference. Don't compromise your only set of eyes. Call 354-2020 today.
Injuries happen, so if you twist, pull, pop, or snap something, you need Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Dr. Espinosa treats all non-surgical orthopedic injuries and has same-day and next-day availability. Telemedicine services are also available. There is no reason to be in pain. If you are hurting, visit Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Learn more at TSAOG.com. That's TSAOG.com, or schedule your appointment by calling 210-804-5490.
Dell's semi-annual sale is the perfect opportunity for a significant business upgrade. Save up to 45% on Dell computers built for business with Windows 10 Pro. Plus, enjoy special pricing on Dell docks, monitors, servers, and more, all with easy financing options through Dell Financial Services. Succeed anywhere with Windows 10 Pro. Speak to a Dell Technologies advisor today to find the right tech for your business with fast, free shipping. Call 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Oh, according to research, 82% of people remember radio ads. That means that 82% of you listening right now will remember that this is an ad for ZipRecruiter. If you're hiring, 82% of you will recall that ZipRecruiter makes hiring faster and easier. And 82% of you will note that you can try ZipRecruiter for free today. But you have to go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio, like where this ad plays. 82% of you will keep in mind that ZipRecruiter's technology finds qualified people for your job and actively invites them to apply.
Scott, is that you? Who are you talking to?
82% of you will also know that I live with my mom. But the most important thing to note is that ZipRecruiter works. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Will you be part of the 82% who remember where you can try ZipRecruiter for free? It's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Again, that exclusive link is ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Yes, radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
If you think the COVID vaccine alone will protect you from the coronavirus, think again. As the deadly disease breaks through to people who are vaccinated, it's critical to take a reliable temperature reading with the Exergen Temporal Scanner. It's the only thermometer whose accuracy has been proven in more than 100 clinical studies. Vaccines are not enough, and thermometer accuracy matters. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Exergen is changing the way the world takes temperature.
When you need an electrician, Hill Electric is available 24/7 for residential and commercial needs. If you're having to rework your office, let Hill Electric design your socially distanced space to ensure each workstation has the proper electrical needs. For over 35 years, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio. There is never a service charge and always free estimates. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074, or go to hill-electric.com.
San Antonio Sports Stars taking halftime on the road. We'll be out at Twin Peaks this Monday, September the 27th. We'll be covering all things Monday Night Football and prepping you for the Eagles and Cowboys. And you'll have a chance to win Twisted Trails tickets and some brand new San Antonio Sports Stars swag. That's right. Join us September the 27th for lunch from noon to 2 at Twin Peaks Westover Hills location, 410 and 151. That's this Monday, September the 27th from noon to 2 at Twin Peaks, 410 and 151. San Antonio Sports Star on the road.
This is Jerry Jones, and you're listening to the home of the Dallas Cowboys.
San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
It's halftime here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. We hit up the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines. He is the host of the podcast Win Now or Get Bent. He is the beat writer for the Texas State Bobcats, of the Austin American Statesman. Kef Jardello joins us here on halftime. Kef, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing pretty great on my end. How are you today, Carl?
Well, let's just say that the Bobcats got bent. What happened, Kef?
Ooh, Lord. You know, I mean, I'm not one for excuses, as you know, but right off the bat, they had 24 guys that didn't play due to COVID. Jake Spavital said on Tuesday that 15 of those 24 were guys in their too deep on their depth chart. So they were down quite a few players, but they played an FCS opponent. It was the first time they had lost to an FCS opponent since being in the FBS, which 2012 was their first year. So they definitely played down and underestimated who they were playing. And you can't, you got to give it up for Cameron Ward. What a terrific quarterback Incarnate Word has. A guy who was absolutely under-recruited. It made me look into more about his recruitment at a high school, and I guess he ran an option offense at a high school. And so I can totally understand why he was overlooked, but a lot of teams made a mistake not looking at that kid.
Kef Jardello joining us here on San Antonio Sports Star. And when the comeback from that is, yes, you had a bunch of guys hurt or out. What was the altitude of the team starting on Monday? Because that's one of those beatings, whether you have an excuse or a reason or some kind of mix between the two, that is so disheartening when you lose to a team that really isn't even in your own division, or it wasn't, or it shouldn't even be close no matter what division you're gone by. How was practice this week, and what's the attitude as they head up to Michigan?
Whenever we ask players what's it like in that locker room, how's everybody feeling, of course the answer is mad, stunned silence. It seemed like a lot of people were shocked by that loss directly after it, and then they were pretty mad about it this week when going into practice. And they'll be getting 10 of those 24 players back this week. In fact, they're flying out. I think Spavital said 6 players tomorrow morning, so they won't be cleared until today. But they're going to fly them out tomorrow morning to get to that 1:00 kickoff. But they're obviously disheartened. it's a tough one, especially coming off that Florida International win. Things were looking up. Bobcats fans were pretty excited about everything, and then to come out and have that performance, it's disheartening for players, coaches, and fans too.
Kev Chardello joins us on the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines. Is there a foreseeable bounce back then, assuming, most of those guys come back? And what can you tell us about Eastern Michigan and maybe the rest of the Bobcats schedule after this loss to UIW?
Yeah, well, they've got a pretty tough one in Eastern Michigan. They're going up to Eastern Michigan and Ypsilanti. I think I'm saying that right. Ypsilanti, Michigan. Say that again.
It's Ypsilanti.
Oh,
the Y is an I.
I've been way off. Ypsilanti. Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you. It's like Refugio.
Exactly. That G doesn't sound right.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's a pretty tough team. They're another running offense. It'll be the third of 4 opponents where they face a team that loves to run the ball. Last week, Incarnate Word was the passing team, and so they've got to be ready for that. Offensively, they also use 2 different quarterbacks, which is kind of interesting. They have the Cincinnati transfer back there named Ben Bryant. He got his first start last week, but Preston Hutchinson, who started last year and the first 2 games, got in there as well. They both have played both games, or all 3 games. So you'll expect to see some of that from them. It'll be pretty tough to bounce back. I mean, Bobcats, they are 6.5-point underdogs going into this game. And it's a place they've never been before. It's first ever meeting between the 2 schools. It's going to be a tough one. Even though they are getting some guys back, how much can those guys play without practicing this week? How effective will they actually be? But they have a bye week next week. A much needed bye week because they have some other lingering injuries as well around the team. I think this is a team that really kind of needs to go back and lick their wounds and really go back to the drawing board and figure out what they can do for the rest of the season, because this is the last non-conference game. Mm-hmm. And then right after the bye week, got South Alabama, who's off to a really hot start, and some other really tough opponents, including Coastal, Louisiana. I mean, it's going to be tough going into the Sun Belt Conference, and this team definitely needs to make some adjustments schematically and with personnel.
Yikes. Kev Giardello joining us here on San Antonio Sports Star. As the Texas State Bobcats head north, the Red Raiders come south from Lubbock, coming into Austin to take on Texas early on. Coach, I was going to say Eric Morris. That's not the head coach at Texas Tech, but Texas Tech is
Wells.
Yeah, Mike Wells is 3-0. The strength of schedule isn't all that strong, but this is a team that obviously knows how to win, coming in against a Texas team that just spanked Rice and needed to for both personal just pride and then to kind of right the ship and get things going. What's the expectation from Tech? I don't know much about what they are. I know what Matt Wells likes to do. Are we going to see that kind of wide open offense again, or has Tech changed their skin?
I wish I could say I was as much of an expert on Tech as I am Texas State. But I haven't paid too much attention to them this year. I have paid attention to Texas a little bit. Of course, they had that disappointing loss, and they were able to bounce back last week and kind of get some momentum under the new Sarkisian era. And, but that loss to Arkansas is actually looking pretty good. So I think this Texas team is much better than that, and teams can kind of have an off week. Similar to maybe that could be the case for Texas State last week, maybe just an off week. But I think it's more. There's more optimism with the Longhorns than with Texas State for sure, I like what I'm seeing from Texas. I'd have to dive into Texas.
I'm trying to figure it out. I'll tell you what, Kev, you're not the only one that's wondering what Tech's doing. Quite frankly, they haven't played anybody.
But they're 3-0, and last year was a absolute shootout between them. Ended up in overtime, and I'm pretty sure it was a basketball score, something like 68-61 Longhorns, just barely edging out the Raiders last year. Although we do move over to another Raiders, your Raiders of Las Vegas. They're on the cusp of going 3-0. How do you feel if Derek Carr's playing versus how do you feel if Nathan Peterman is playing for the Raiders going up against the Tua Tagovailoa Dolphins team?
Well, I'll say this. That's a lot of posturing when they say that Derek Carr won't play. He got banged up in that game, but he came back and finished it. He's definitely going to play this week. I wouldn't be too confident if it's Peterman. It would be interesting if they did roll with him. he's had some preseason success, but everybody kind of remembers that 4 interceptions in the first half game when he started for the Bills. It's kind of has that hanging over him. And I heard Tua's hurt. I haven't really checked up on it today.
He's out.
I don't think he's out. Yeah, I don't think Tua. Yeah, so they're not going to play. They have an offensive line that's allowing something like pressure on 55% of the snaps, and the Raiders are applying tons of pressure with Yannick Ngakoue and Max Crosby. They're really bringing it. So I think it'll be another good one for the Raiders this week. But I will say they've done this before. They always start hot, especially in the John Gruden era. I mean, even last year they were 2-0. So they've done this where they've overplayed expectations at the beginning and then came crashing towards the end of the season. So be on the lookout for that.
Kev Ciardello, the beat writer for the Texas State Bobcats for the Austin American-Statesman, the host of Win Now or Get Bent. And Kev, one last question before we let you go. At what point do we officially say to the Bobcats, get bent? I know you're not quite there yet, but obviously the UIW loss pushes you a lot closer to that threshold.
6 to 7 losses is kind of my benchmark there. Once it starts to get to it's once bowl eligibility is completely out of contention and there's no more hope for the rest of the season, then it's there. That's such a tough loss, and it's so easy to write them off and to not be instilled with confidence. I know I'm not. There's still much confidence, a loss like that, but there is so much of the season left that you can't write it off yet. They need to do a lot of introspection and change this and turn it around, though.
Well, let's see if they can do that. Otherwise, we might ask you to start being a Texas Tech or a Longhorn expert for this segment. We'll still keep bringing you on, but we might not talk Bobcats after the first question, Kev.
Hey, I'm surprised you didn't want to talk more Incarnate Word. I mean, Eric Morris and those guys, I was super impressed by everything I saw. I've been bashing Bobcats, but they did play a sound game. I think they were really sloppy. They had 7 fumbles. They only lost 2 of them. But they put the ball on the ground quite a bit, so that's something they have to clean up. But otherwise, I mean, a pretty sharp team, a really good scheme coming in to counter the Texas State defense, and they really capitalize off of situations that they need to, and that's where they took advantage. I think that's an impressive team. It's one to watch for the FCS playoffs and potentially Southland Conference champions.
They made it.
I'm going to keep my eye on them for sure.
They made it deep last year. I'm very curious what the payoff on the bet between Morris and Spav was, because those guys go back. I have a feeling there was a conversation had and maybe a bottle or 2 on the line after the game. Morris is going to have to collect.
And Kev, I haven't had a chance to listen to the podcast you just posted, but I did listen to the last podcast, the very dejected post-game recap of that game against UIW. Were you able to confirm that the Bobcats paid the Cardinals $300,000?
I didn't confirm that figure. I know they did pay something, and it is probably around $300,000. That was just a number that someone threw out on Twitter. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to get that exact number, but that can be FOIA'd, Freedom of Information Act. You can send in a request and get that contract. So I'll do that. I'll get that eventually, especially after that loss. It's kind of important for the narrative.
Yeah, here's $300K. Now kick my ass and let me go home.
But in this case, it was the Bobcats who were getting their asses kicked. So that's how it goes. Cap, give them the handles real quick.
Oh, follow me at my personal handles at Kef_C. You can follow the podcast at Win Now or Get Bent. And check out my articles, statesman.com, if you want to read up on the Texas State Bobcats or a little bit of high school coverage as well.
Awesome. We appreciate your time, Kef. Enjoy the football this weekend.
Hey, thanks, Carl. Thanks, Rob.
You have a good one, Kef. Take care.
You too.
So, yeah, we'll have to tell Kef to brush up on his general college football knowledge, and I'm sure he'll still watch every Bobcat game because he gets paid to, but that's about as much as anybody else who's watching Texas State can hope for. As Cole joins us on Periscope, he said, when men's basketball lost to Oulu last year, that was a turning point. Will that UIW loss be a point for football? He's referencing Texas State because, yeah, hey, to Cole's point, not that I have anywhere near this kind of expectation for football. The men's basketball team at Texas State lost to Our Lady of the Lake, who's an NAIA school in their Division I basketball program, playing in the Sun Belt there as well. So the fact that they were able to bounce back and eventually win the conference for the Sun Belt outright in the season conference play, don't let that be hope for you guys if you're Bobcat fans, but there is something of that was not the most embarrassing loss that Texas State athletics had faced in the last few years. There you go. That actual same season, they were able to bounce back as the Saints were able to go into San Marcos, and I'm sure that was probably a paycheck game as well, and somehow defeat Texas State.
Don't hang your hat on the basketball. Basketball is very different.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, the fewer number takes one dude. One dude gets hot, you lose a close game. I don't know how you turn it around this year. First and foremost, but we'll say it again as we do every day that ends in Y. The best ability is what?
Availability.
Got to keep the COVID clean.
However, I will point this out, and I don't like to fire people or say they're on the hot seat. However, 42 points put up by UIW. It seemed like it might have been schemes. Zach Spavital is the defensive coordinator at Texas State University. You're pretty close with your brother. Could you fire your brother?
No problem at all, as he would fire me as well. I think that, honestly, when it comes to situations like that, you'll never have to. I mean, your brothers, you understand. If Zach would walk into his brother's office and say, man, I let you down. I probably shouldn't stay. Yeah. I mean, you would not put your brother in a situation where he had to do that. So it would never come to it. They would know. But yeah, I think it might be even easier in that situation because you're closer. I mean, you understand what each other's wavelength is, but something's going to change. This won't last.
So it's funny. We'll even go back. Kef is known for Kef bombs. Right after Spav accepted the Texas State job, Cliff Kingsbury got the Arizona Cardinals job, and he tried to pull Spav away from Texas State before he coached one game for the Bobcats, and it might have been Zach Spavital the reason he stayed. So, he had already hired his entire staff, but that's and I think it was like $1 million buyout on top of that. However, it is kind of ironic that that's how it all maybe is working out here. Is the best laid plans go awry sometimes of mice and men. That's definitely a classic that you might not have read if you had it on your to-do list like me. So anyway, hey, that is the Bobcat segment. We do it every Friday at 12:30 with Kef Chardello. There is a sequel to the biggest craze during lockdown. You guys are definitely going to want to stick around and hear the thoughts of this from one of the maniacs that had to cover that whole thing. He's sitting right across from me, Rob Thompson. Very excited about it. I need to figure out what the big deal was. We'll talk about that and more here on Halftime. Thanks for spending your midday break with us here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
El Rey de Tigre. Right? The king of Tiger King. Is that how you say it?
I think so.
I want to talk to you guys about where you're laying your money. I'm not talking to you sports bettors. I'm Rob Thompson here to tell you about my favorite sports book, my only sports book. That's BetUS. Hope you played the game last night. I hope you took Carolina. Probably bet the under as well, made some money. I only endorse one sports book, and that's BetUS.com because I trust them. They've been around for 25 years. They're America's favorite sports book for a reason. They pay when they're supposed to pay, and that's what we're after, right? You also need a sports book that's going to offer everything you want to play money with. Live betting, yes, that's fun. We want that for sure. MMA, yeah, we got a big one this weekend. Ryder Cup odds, go check it out at BetUS right now. Horses, esports, and all the great props. It's so easy to sign up. I recommend jumping on the phone. You can do it 1-800-79-BET-US. You go through the process of getting your deposit taken care of. They'll walk you through it. It won't take you 5 minutes. Again, that's 1-800-79-BET-US, and they'll take care of everything. Now, why you would want to go to BetUS is this. On your first deposit, you can receive up to 200% in bonuses if you'll mention KZDC. 200% in bonuses? Man, that's unheard of. All you got to remember is KZDC. Play with some house money. I bet at BetUS, and so should you. Join BetUS.com today. Lay your money tonight. You got a big weekend of games. Get in there now and use up to 200% in bonuses on your first deposits. All you need to know is KZDC. That's BetUS.com, where the game begins.
1, 2, 3. Live and local sports talk to get you out the door. Rob Thompson, Rudy J. R&R in the morning on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
This Sports Center update is brought to you by Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 100% satisfaction guarantee.
The Houston Texans fell to the Carolina Panthers last night, 24-9. But the win might be costly to Carolina as they lost star running back Christian McCaffrey to a hamstring injury in the first half. The Texas MLB teams both took losses Thursday night, with the Houston Astros falling to the LA Angels 3-2, and the Texas Rangers dropping Game 1 of their series in Baltimore to the Orioles 3-0. This weekend in UTSA sports, the Roadrunners volleyball team starts conference play and has their home opener tonight against La Tech at the Convocation Center with the first serve at 7 o'clock. And UTSA football is on the road in Memphis to take on the University of Memphis Tigers in a battle of the unbeatens. That game can be seen on ESPNU with a kickoff slated for 2:30. For San Antonio Sports Star, I'm Carl Schoening.
New surveys show that Americans don't think vaccines are enough to protect themselves and others from COVID-19. 80% want thermometers used in public places to screen for COVID-19. 36% know that non-contact devices are inaccurate, and 60% would not recommend that friends or family members enter places that screen with them. To be safe, use Exergen at home, at work, and in public. It's the only thermometer proven accurate by more than 100 published clinical studies. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Hey, it's Rob with my good buddy Jack Overman from Service First AC Repair and Plumbing. Hey, Jack, when someone calls you for plumbing or an AC repair, can you fix it that day?
No sweat.
What if it's in the middle of the night?
No sweat.
Weekends?
No sweat.
Service First AC and Plumbing has put San Antonians first for over 14 years, with trustworthy and reliable technicians on hand 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Service First is standing by to help you when you need them. Hey, Jack, what about free quotes?
No sweat.
And half-off service and free tune-ups?
No sweat. With Service First AC Repair and Plumbing, we don't sweat the small stuff or the big stuff.
Call Service First AC Repair and Plumbing. 210-NO-SWEAT. That's 210-NO-SWEAT. Anything else, Jack?
Thanks for having me, Rob. My team and I would be honored to assist you with all your AC and heating needs. Just give us a call, and we'll head right over. 210-NO-SWEAT.
210-NO-SWEAT. That's 210-NO-SWEAT.
License number TACLA 27100C.
Prescription products require an online consultation. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
Think you might have ED? Not sure? Well, we'd like to let you in on a little secret. ED is common. About 40% of men experience ED by age 40, but the solution is simple. Find it at 4hims.com.
I didn't have to talk to a doctor in person. There was no copay, and the medication was shipped right to my door in discreet packaging.
Hims took care of it, fast and easy. Now our love life is better than ever.
Get access to doctors online who can prescribe you FDA-approved ED medication if appropriate. The same active ingredient as name brands, but 90% cheaper. Skip the waiting rooms and pharmacy lines. Get a free medical consultation and rise to the occasion or your money back. Go to 4hims.com/radio to get your first visit free. No copay required. The only way to get this special offer is to go to 4hims.com/radio. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, then get ready to pay up. The IRS has giant private collection agencies actively tracking down folks who owe the IRS. So if you think dodging them was stressful in the past, it's going to get a whole lot tougher. Optima Tax Relief has this advice. Don't wait. Solve your tax problems now before it's too late. Optima Tax Relief works to stop the demand letters, stop the aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS collectors from targeting you. Ask Optima about the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands, and nobody knows this program better than they do. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and they get results, having resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get a fresh start. Call today for your free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
The arrival of fall means playoff baseball. Who sweeps? Who makes a surprise run for the pennant? Major League Baseball's playoffs lives here on San Antonio Sports Star. ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
This is Rudy J, and you're listening to San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Thank you, Rudy. I'm Carl Schoening. He's Rob Thompson. James Pledger air guitaring on the other side as Edwin does all the work. Appreciate you, Edwin. Hey, and is that Shelton back there? What's Shelton doing?
Carrying around a...
Oh, he's here to destroy you. You better make this segment go long.
Our crack engineer on crack. Hey, can't wait to hear what he's going to do.
He's not happy.
Oh, right. Hey, I'm sure. All right. I'm curious what that is. I can't wait till the break to see what it is. But before we go to break, I got to ask you, are you excited about Tiger King 2? Season 2's coming out, and you had to fill segments during lockdown.
Not just me. Every sports talk radio station across this country a year ago, March, spent an entire month of the first part of the lockdown, play-by-play, day by day of the Tiger King. Now, I don't know what Tiger King 2 could have, because my understanding is he's still in prison. And the original Tiger King Zoo has been closed down. Now, we do know one thing for sure, that what's her name killed her husband. That's the one. Maybe that
Carol Baskin.
Carol Baskin killed her husband. So maybe Tiger King 2 will be more of a forensic files, trying to figure out when she said that, if you wanted to get rid of somebody, you just pour tuna fish oil on their feet and let them walk around the zoo. Yeah, Carol Baskin killed her husband. Tiger King 2 is coming out on Netflix. I don't know what it's worth, but I'm certainly going to watch at least the first episode just to catch up on the craziness, because I firmly believe that wherever if you're listening in San Antonio right now, if you're listening around in San Antonio, there is a tiger or a lion in a cage less than 2 miles from where you are right now.
I heard you can get a tiger for less than $2,000 or about $2,000.
You give me $100, I'll have a tiger cub. Give me 24 hours.
Oh, that's easy money. I'm going to give you $100 right now. I'm going to go to the ATM. I want a tiger.
There are tigers amongst us. They're all around us. They're just hidden in houses. That's what Tiger King taught me.
Oh, man. I'm going to see how easy it is to get a tiger. We'll keep that for Monday talk here. As we appreciate you joining
Carol
us.
Baskin.
Thanks for spending your midday break with us on halftime. This is San Antonio Sports Star. Stick around for Cowboys talk on ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM.
Basket.
Rangers on the radio.
Here's the pitch and the ground ball left side. Diving Culberson, he's got it. Throws to second in time for the force on Walsh.
It's San Antonio's favorite addiction.
And there's a high drive, well hit left center field. Way back at the wall, Lewis and Trammell, and it is history. A 3-run Jimmy Jack for Adolis Garcia.
Go ahead. Have another hit. San Antonio Sports Star. ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
He raids your fridge. Yada brada. Borrows your car without asking. Scratches? What scratches? He's your brother-in-law. I'll pay you back. He takes what's yours, and there's nothing you can do. But when identity thieves want to take what's yours, you can do something. LifeLock by Norton monitors your info and alerts you to potential threats. If you become a victim, they can help fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses, but you can save up to 25% off your first year at LifeLock.com using promo code NEWS.
What's stopping you from getting the original Peloton bike?
I need flexibility with my workouts.
Choose from thousands of classes available 24/7.
It's hard for me to stay motivated.
Programs, artist series, and badges keep you reaching new goals.
45-minute bike boot camp, 30-minute hit ride.
My 45-minute hip-hop ride. You get all that? For how much?
The original Peloton bike is now at its best price ever. Get game-changing cardio at a new game-changing price. The original Peloton bike, now $400 less. Learn more at onepeloton.com.
Hi, welcome to Smoky Moe's.
At Smoky Moe's Barbecue, we smoke our meats fresh, in-house, each and every day. We think it makes all the difference in the quality of our moist, flavorful brisket and turkey, and the mouth-watering tenderness of our ribs and pork loin. Got a crowd? We've got group packs and full-service catering. Up early? We've got made-to-order breakfast tacos. Find your store at SmokyMoe'sBarbecue.com and come see us for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Smoky Moe's Barbecue. The pit is lit.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, then get ready to pay up. The IRS has giant private collection agencies actively tracking down folks who owe the IRS. So if you think dodging them was stressful in the past, it's going to get a whole lot tougher. Optima Tax Relief has this advice. Don't wait. Solve your tax problems now before it's too late. Optima Tax Relief works to stop the demand letters, stop the aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS collectors from targeting you. Ask Optima about the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands, and nobody knows this program better than they do. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and they get results, having resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get a fresh start. Call today for your free consultation.
Call 800-936-9033. 800-936-9033. 800-936-9033.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
New surveys show that Americans don't think vaccines are enough to protect themselves and others from COVID-19. 80% want thermometers used in public places to screen for COVID-19, and 36% know that non-contact devices are inaccurate. Use Exergen at home, at work, and in public. It's the only thermometer proven accurate by more than 100 published clinical studies. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Exergen is changing the way the world takes temperature.
As a pro, you know you need the right tools for the job. Shop the Just for Pros event at Lowe's now through September 24th to save on top tool brands and more. Up your power with the Bosch 18-volt cordless hammer drill kit, plus bonus laser distance measure, only $149. And the DeWalt 16-piece bimetal reciprocating saw blade set, now only $22.98. Shop in-store and at Lowe's.com. Lowe's, the new home for pros. Valid through 9/24, U.S. only.
Some people treat investing like a game, but Marcus by Goldman Sachs approaches investing in a smart way with digitally managed portfolios that leverage Goldman Sachs strategies. So, do you want to play games or do you want your money to work smart? You can money. Visit Marcus.com to learn more about saving, borrowing, and investing from Marcus by Goldman Sachs.
Investing involves risk and investments may lose value. Brokerage and investment advisory services by Goldman Sachs & Company, LLC. Member FINRA SIPC. Lending and deposits products provided by Goldman Sachs Bank USA. Member FDIC.
20 years of fears are about to break loose. Halloween is back with a vengeance at SeaWorld. The biggest, most terrifying Halloween event in Texas. With multiple haunted houses, coasters in the dark, and horror around every corner. Select nights September 17th through October 31st. Halloween at SeaWorld San Antonio. Buy a 2022 season pass, get Halloween free, plus unlimited visits next year. Restrictions apply.
This is the home of the Cowboys, Rangers, and Aggie football. KZDC, San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Rob Thompson, Carl Schoening. Halftime.
It's halftime here on San Antonio Sports Star. Half two of halftime. Thank y'all for tuning in, whether it be over our frequencies, ESPN AM 1250 or 94.5 FM. You can also hit us up on sasportstar.com. Catch out the live video feed. Edwin and Pledger back there making sure we sound good. Rob Thompson sitting across from me. I'm Carl Schoening. Happy y'all spend some time with us today. Maybe you're in your midday break. Maybe you're getting your day going. It's Friday, and I'm happy that y'all are here.
I want your life if you're getting your day going at 1 o'clock, getting up at the crack of noon. Let's do some programming cleanups here. Tonight, Friday Night Lights gets going again. Jason Minix will be on the call, as always, and be partnered with Rudy J for the Hill Electric Game of the Week. Tonight, Johnson and Brandeis. They don't get to play very often. This is a battle of big uns tonight. Get the pregame at 6:30, 7 o'clock kickoff. You can catch it live right here on San Antonio Sports Star. We'll also be streaming it. You can view it live right here at San Antonio Sports Star. If you're looking for scores at any point tonight or anytime for all of your high school athletics, you can go to 210varsity.com. That's 210 Varsity, sponsored by San Antonio Express News. You need the scores? We got them. They're at 210varsity.com. Our high school football coverage is always brought to you by TSAOG Orthopedics, Smoky Moe's Barbecue, Stevens Roofing, Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, and Central Builders. Good game tonight.
And Rudy J will be there?
He will be there in full. He'll be on the color side of things. He and Minix will in their partnership this week, as Kevin Brock will be back next week for his usual call.
I'm still going to tune in. Can't wait to hear how that game goes. That'll always be fun. And it's always a busy day for Minix. Geez, that's like 8 straight hours on air.
Yeah, I feel bad for anybody that's got to do like 5-6 hours of radio every day. I feel really bad for someone who has to do that once a week. That must be awful for him. I hope he carbo loads today.
Rangers play the Orioles. I forgot about that. So he's off. Blitz will be over at 6, correct?
He's been getting out of 6 all week.
That's right. After it's been a rough week in the last couple of weeks here as we come to the end of the season for the Rangers. They get swept by the Yankees. They lose to the Orioles. I'm pretty sure both teams are made up of entirely September call-ups. So, yeah, the Rangers and the Orioles, that series continues. It's a 4-game series, so we're not going to have all of it here on San Antonio Sports Star. Well, what do we got Saturday? Will that interfere?
It will not be on Saturday. We got college football for you, and on Sunday it will not be either for Dallas Cowboys. So we will not.
No, we got Monday Night Football.
I said Sunday. We have regular football.
Oh, okay.
That we carry here, and Monday we won't see him again. Season's all but done. I can't imagine holding tickets to a Rangers-Orioles game in late September. You are a desperate baseball fan if you're holding out for this series.
A lot of baseball fans are desperate baseball fans, man. Although, hey, the NL East battle, we're going to talk Cowboys here in a moment, but the NL East battle is worth watching. The Phillies only trail the Braves by 2 games. Phillies are playing last place in their division, the NL Central Pittsburgh Pirates right now. They had a big win last night. And then the final 3 games of the season, the Phillies go up against the Braves, which could very well decide the NL East. So that is worth watching, keeping an eye on before they lose to Edwin's Brewers. Whoever that is, most likely, as I have to give a shout out to Edwin. He's going to be a baseball source for us when we finally get to the playoffs. But we're still in football season as we want to shift gears over to the Monday night matchup. What was the breaking news you showed us, Pledger? I was in the middle of countdown, so I didn't quite catch who's in COVID protocols for the Cowboys, but they're going to be
defensive end Bradley and I.
Oh, Bradley and I. Yeah, that's a loss right there. And they just can't stay healthy there on the front line on the defensive side of the ball, or at least stay away from the COVID. So, yeah, that's a tough loss, and I would hope that he's one of the vaccinated players so he can maybe register a few negative tests.
We are also eager to see if a couple of players might make it back. We know that Randy Gregory is practicing. He is expected to play. Amari Cooper practiced yesterday, though his ribs still seem to be a bit tender. We've got a couple of defensive tackles that will not be available. I'm curious to see if we will have our first sighting of the Cowboys' 3rd-round draft pick out of Iowa, defensive end, see if he gets some time. This has been a testament to Dan Quinn these first couple of weeks, pasting together, forming together a defense when you're minus 2-3 guys a game. It's the Philadelphia offense is very different from what we've seen the first 2 weeks. We got a mobile quarterback, an offensive line that will get out and pull, quick moving offense looking for space, and a quarterback that I do believe for the Eagles to win, I think you're going to have to see Jalen Hurts with at least 35 to 40 yards of rushing.
Oh, easy. He gets that every game anyhow.
Mm-hmm.
He is a true dual threat in the NFL. This season has proved that. Last year, his completion percentage was down mainly because he never had any time. His offensive line at the moment is very healthy and very effective, and that's given him more time to be able to do a lot more with the football. But overall, Jalen Hurts on the season is 39 of 58 for 454 yards, 3 touchdowns. He's going up against Dak Prescott, who's putting up monster numbers, picking up where he left off in week 5 of last season. So far, Prescott is 65 of 85 for 640 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 picks. But it is the fact that Jalen Hurts is the rushing leader for the Eagles that makes him so dangerous. 17 carries for 144 yards and a touchdown on the season. He's finding good chemistry with his receivers. This is the year that Jalen Hurts proves the Eagles don't need to worry about Deshaun Watson, which that situation seems like it's going to be carried over into the draft anyway at this point. We're going to have to get a Deshaun Watson update from Pledge at some point. But
how many yards is Jalen getting a rushing per game? I'm really interested in how they're using him because I think he's an effective and really good runner. And sometimes when you have a quarterback that is capable of running with the strength that Jalen Hurts runs with, that it's easy to go that direction when you need to be developing what appears to be a pretty good arm with more touch than I believed he actually had. We had Coach Mike McCarthy on earlier today on R&R in the morning, and we asked him, and if you need to check any of this out, you can go to SA Sports Stars Audio Vault and listen to the entirety of the Mike McCarthy interview. We talked about when you're dealing with a quarterback like this, do you intend to bracket him? Do you try to bracket the quarterback and keep him in the pocket? Or do you let a guy like Jalen Hurts, maybe you'd rather him run for 3 than pass for 10? So maybe you let him kind of out of the pocket and D up on the backside. A very interesting idea as the offense that Philadelphia has. I think everybody that thought they would see a different style under Nick Sirianni has been pleasantly surprised.
72 yards per game on the ground.
72 yards a game. That's more than Lamar Jackson. That's more than you would even dream of a Jackson going. I think that's going to be the key. I wonder if this makeshift defensive line and these speedy linebackers are going to be able to slow this rush attack, because when he does the RPO, normally he's the one that's running.
Yeah, and that's the real threat here, is because he is the biggest threat with his legs. Miles Sanders does a good job. I like them. Gaineswell has also been playing pretty well in the backfield every third down or so. But really, Jalen Hurts, if he doesn't see anything he likes on a pass, he can just make it a quarterback run anytime. He's almost, dare I say, Michael Vick-ish in that sense. Not quite there, but 72 yards a game through 2 games is nothing to sneeze at.
That's ridiculous numbers. That's numbers that cannot be sustained.
No, I don't expect it to, but it seems to me that is going to have to be his bread and butter. But he's also averaging 220 yards through the air per game. So not to take anything away from him, he is also a much improved passer. And overall, let me get back to his stats. His completion percentage has gone up from 52% last year to 67% this year. I know it was the Falcons and then the 49ers, but those are teams that are still in the NFL. And if you can put up 67% through 2 games, that's much better than, man, you look at Josh Allen. He's only around 56% right now through 2 games. And one of his games was against the Dolphins. So still, you got to give Jalen, as Rudy J says, give him your flowers, his flowers that he deserves.
I've reverse course on him. It's going to be a tough night for him, because if I'm the Cowboys, I'm bracketing him and I'm making him beat me with his arm. I'm not going to let you out. I'm not going to let you run. I'm going to spy you all day long. I've got a bunch of linebackers that I can ensure that once you set foot out of the hashtag or hash mark, somebody is coming for you. Make him rely on that offensive line that is solid, though. They have had some issues protecting quarterbacks in the past. Ask Carson Wince. So I think the game on paper looks easy. I don't know of anybody outside of Philadelphia that has picked the Eagles to win, but this is not an easy game by any stretch. Even though the Cowboys are coming home when they're playing for the first time on a Monday night, that's going to have all the hoopla and everything that Jerry Jones loves. It is still a rivalry game. And there's very little film on Nick Sirianni. We got 2 games. I mean, quite frankly, we don't know what this offense is going to be, because I am sure they're playing possum with a lot of things that they were planning on once the division and conference games really kick into gear. I have a feeling we're going to see an offense that looks very different from what we saw against San Francisco.
That's the key to any NFL team's success, is you throw in the wrinkles, because now 2 games in, you do have 2 games worth of film. 6 weeks in, you'll have 6 weeks worth of film. How do you keep your offense and your defense fresh? Your schemes have to change up. And then at the same time for Dallas, I don't know if you can necessarily say that they have schemes you can reference, because they've just been so banged up there on their defensive front line. They change things up, and you don't know what Micah Parsons is going to do. I think he's going to play safety this week. He can do anything he wants on that defensive side of the ball. Being that edge rusher last week, you know that you have to game plan for that, but he might go back to being a inside linebacker this week.
McCarthy was coy. I don't believe he's going to be playing end. I think he might spend a down or 2 there, but what they found last weekend, that as they assigned him the edge rush, the Randy Gregory spot or the DeMarcus Lawrence spot, depending on the down and distance, when they kept him in those packages, he was leaving the field on packages that he might have ordinarily played if he'd have been in a different position. And I don't think McCarthy nor Dan Quinn wants that after what they saw last week. So I do think he'll be a little bit more flexible. But we're going to see a different defense, as you just said. All of that front line is hurt. There's very little consistent health down on that front side. So what is Dan Quinn to do? We'll find out on Monday. And, of course, we'll get you ready for all that as news breaks. We will try to put it back together on Monday as Carl and I will be live out at Twin Peaks. Halftime coming to you from the 151 location on the west side of San Antonio. Go ahead and put it in your calendar. Get out to work early. Come out and join us at Twin Peaks as it is a Monday football game. And we will be getting you ready there on halftime. Before we move on to next topics, we got to get you all caught up. Carl's got a literal stack of headlines that he wants you to hear. Let's get the news out. What do we got?
Carl's Countdown.
Headline 2, Indianapolis Colts Carson Wince returns to practice after 2 sprained ankles. I guess that means he's going to give it a go against the Los Angeles Rams.
I guess. I'll never get over the fact that some dude sprained both of his ankles. And who was going to be the backup if he couldn't play?
Oh, my goodness.
I
I'm
know
not sure.
Not Darnold.
Sam Ellinger's not
he's
playing,
not around. And third, Big Ben, whoever it was going to be, anybody.
It is Jacob Eason.
There it is, Jacob Eason, the Washington kid.
Excuse me, against the Titans. He sprained his ankles against the Rams, but Eason is the projected starter.
Is Eason the projected starter as third string? I think I saw Brett Hundley got a lot of snaps yesterday. If Wentz can't play, I believe it'll be Brett Hundley brought off of the practice squad. He formerly of the Green Bay Packers.
I'm only reading the articles I have compiled, and that is the last line here that second-year quarterback Jacob Eason will start Eason will start for the Titans.
Yes.
Start against the Titans if Wince is next. So Eason is on the Colts there. It's hard keeping track of these backup third-string, fourth-string quarterbacks because this would be Sam Ellinger's job if he didn't get hurt in the preseason. And that is a shame for people who, like me, who enjoyed Sam in his UT days.
Moving along.
All right, headline 1. The U.S. takes an early 3-1 lead over Europe at the Ryder Cup thanks to strong play in the foursome matches today.
Mad respect. This was tough. Because the plot line here is a young and talented Team USA versus the sage and savvy veterans of the Euros. And the matchups this morning, I think we're going to tell how this thing would go. And they started fast and continue to go. I think that they might have an opportunity to right the ship. It's when they've won only 1 of the last 5 and only 2 of the last 10, I believe, in Team USA with the Ryder Cup up in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. I was looking online for gear from Fanatics. You know, they have the Ryder Cup half zips. They're proud of those things, man.
I'm sure they're expensive,
half
too.
Zip. You know, I'm used to Super Bowl prices for Super Bowl polos. And, you know, you'll spend $125, $150 on a polo. $200 on a vest. $200 for a half zip. They better improve my backswing if I buy that thing.
All right. Headline 0. ESPN comes out with their projections for the best NBA players next year. Obviously, everything from 100 to 6 is just up for debate. However, the top 5 always interesting. Number 5, Steph Curry. Number 4, Luka Doncic. Number 3, LeBron James. The great one falls all the way to 3. Number 2, Giannis Antetokounmpo. And then number 1, considered the best player in the NBA. You probably know it by process of elimination, Kevin Durant. Gold medal.
All of that, I completely agree with this list.
I can dig that.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with any of this. I think Luka is on the way up, LeBron on the way down. So I think Luka will be up a notch or two by the end of this season. LeBron, just due to age, and he might walk away with the ring, but I think we will see that no matter how good you are, you can't do it all like you did 10 years ago. I like this list. Who do you think will be the next to join this top 5?
The interesting thing to me is that Nikola Jokic is the MVP, and he is not in the top 5. So, you know, if any of these guys really care, chip on their shoulder. I think DeMar last year when he was put at 82 just put out LOL. And then this year he sneaks up to, I think it was somewhere in the 40s. And that's because he's not in San Antonio. Let's be honest. The mothership is not always the biggest fan of the Spurs. And the Spurs only had only had one player in the top 100, and that was DeJounte Murray at 83.
Though Keldon
should be top 50.
Well, by many of the general managers across the NBA in polls for breakout players, several have brought up Keldon. I was surprised to see him not listed, but I am curious. There was no Jokic on this list. You got to figure Trae Young is rising a little bit as far as the greats. No Dame, and I don't think Dame will max any more than where he is now. No Embiid. You figure Embiid, if he does what the Sixers expect of him, that he might rise up on this list, but I think the top 5 is pretty safe, but for LeBron dropping a few spots here and there.
Yeah, and LeBron, I think he has something to prove this year. This is a year that he knows that everybody's talking about them being old.
And no James Harden on the top 5 either.
No, Harden actually rounds out at number 10.
Who are the 5 through 10 as you look at the list? This is through ESPN?
This is ESPN's projected rankings for best players. So it's Harden at 10, Davis at 9, Anthony Davis, Damian Lillard at 8, Joel Embiid at 7, and the MVP, Nikola Jokic at 6.
Respect. There's not a person on that list in the top 10 that I'd change.
Although, you know what surprised me, and this is just because maybe it's a little surprising. At number 11, Bradley Beal, ranked ahead of Paul George, Chris Paul, Jason Tatum, and Devin Booker, who round out the 15.
See, Tatum and Booker, I think, are the next high risers. I think those are the two that will be top 5 within the next 4 or 5 years. Yeah, I'm a little surprised those guys aren't where they should. Well, no. This is a good list. I think I think with all the brain power behind it, I wouldn't change a single one of these. Not one.
I would go with that too, because there isn't really much up for debate, except for the fact that the Spurs only had one player in the top 100. Really, ESPN?
Well, we are looking through this with silver glasses on.
I would still say Keldon, and an Olympian, deserves consideration somewhere, even if it's in the 90s. Get him on that list, because Keldon Johnson doesn't make that just because Pop is the head coach. He makes it because he's Keldon Johnson, and also there were a lot of COVID opt-outs, and there were injuries. But I'll put it this way, not listed in the top 100, Kevin Love, who also made Team USA's roster, and Keldon took his spot. I would put Keldon up there. Just because you're on Team USA's roster doesn't mean you're a top 100 player in the NBA, but Keldon will be on this list next year.
If he's not, the Spurs have had a terrible season. I'm telling you, if Keldon is not a top 100 player by everybody's list-making skills, by every bit of data, that tells me that he was hurt or something went terribly south. And if he doesn't get there, that tells me Pop had to fight to get the 26 wins.
26 wins is all he needs to become the all-time winningest head coach in regular season NBA history.
If he doesn't get it, it'll be because Keldon didn't live up because of injury or expectations in that top 100.
And those are your headlines. Thank you, Edwin, for producing back there. He's Rob Thompson. I'm Carl Schoening. We missed Tech Talk yesterday, and it's going to kind of become nerdy talk as there is a new Mario movie coming out. That's right. The Mario Brothers had a announcement from Nintendo Direct yesterday. We'll tell you who's playing Mario. You will laugh because you find this person amusing, and it might make you want to watch the movie more. Plus, speaking of laughs, it is the 3-year anniversary of a very famous laugh. We got to get into our favorite remixes of this laugh. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. You don't want to miss the laughs that we're going to be having some fun with here on halftime. This is San Antonio Sports Star. Thanks for spending your midday break with us. ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Football in America is a special game, a unique game played like nowhere else on earth. It's a rare game, and the men that play it make it so. Lamb, Smith, Martin, and Coach Mike McCarthy. And today, these men walk the gridiron with one thing in common, with one mission between them: winning. The Dallas Cowboys play here on the home of the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Slackers Sports and Arcade Bar, now opening at noon 7 days a week at all 4 area locations. Slackers is your home to 7 days a week happy hour, and they now start at noon every day. And by popular request, Slackers brings back their signature frozen drinks. Visit slackersbarssa.com for more info.
Dell's semi-annual sale is the perfect opportunity for a significant business upgrade. Save up to 45% on Dell computers built for business with Windows 10 Pro. Plus, enjoy special pricing on Dell docks, monitors, servers, and more, all with easy financing options through Dell Financial Services. Succeed anywhere with Windows 10 Pro. Speak to a Dell Technologies advisor today to find the right tech for your business with fast, free shipping. Call 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
It's that time of year again, and all eyes are now turning to football as teams are back on the gridiron. Head to the website or use your mobile device and bring the game home with betonline.net.
Oh, according to research, 82% of people remember radio ads. That means that 82% of you listening right now will remember that this is an ad for ZipRecruiter. If you're hiring, 82% of you will recall that ZipRecruiter makes hiring faster and easier. And 82% of you will note that you can try ZipRecruiter for free today. But you have to go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio, like where this ad plays. 82% of you will keep in mind that ZipRecruiter's technology finds qualified people for your job and actively invites them to apply.
Scott, is that you? Who are you talking to?
82% of you will also know that I live with my mom. But the most important thing to note is that ZipRecruiter works. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Will you be part of the 82% who remember where you can try ZipRecruiter for free? It's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Again, that exclusive link is ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Yes, radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Prescription products require an online consultation. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
My husband's ED was affecting our marriage. When he first started experiencing ED, it was difficult for both of us. We didn't know who to talk to about it or where to get help. HIMS was our answer. HIMS connected my husband with a licensed provider online. He was able to get medication to treat his ED at a fraction of the price people pay for the name brand. It was delivered to our door, and guess what? Our sex life is back. It works.
Right now, get your first online provider's visit totally free when you go to forhims.com/radio. Yep, free. No copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Just the care you need.
Thanks to HIMS, we got our sex life and our marriage back.
To start your free online visit, go to this exclusive address, forhims.com/radio. That's forhims.com/radio for your free online visit. forhims.com/radio.
People who are vaccinated are getting sick from COVID variants, and Americans have no end of questions and concerns. What we do know is that fever is the leading sign of COVID, so everyone needs an accurate thermometer. Exergen temporal scanner's accuracy is backed by more than 100 clinical studies, while non-contact devices have no supporting studies. Vaccines are not enough. Learn more at exergen.com.
Exergen is changing the way the world takes temperature.
Here in Texas, the heat is relentless, the storms are serious, and the hail is insane. Texas weather doesn't do anything halfway, and neither should your roofer. Your roof protects your home and your family. So whether you need a simple repair or a roof replacement, metal or composition, you need a roofer you can trust. That's Stevens Roofing. They are reputable, reliable, and have always been your local roofer. Call Stevens Roofing today for a free estimate at 210-785-0994 or go to stevensroofing.net.
Rob Thompson, Carl Schoening. Halftime.
I unplugged my headphones on accident. So, hey, I'm back. I'm Carl Schoen, and this is halftime. Thank y'all for tuning in. I was wondering what was going on in there. It was me on my end. Hey, and there on the other side of me is
You've adopted
Rob Thompson.
An Italian accent.
It's me, Carl Schoening. Hey, I don't know how many people know this about me, but I am a huge Nintendo fan. I love Mario. Mario and Luigi. They are just great. And Nintendo Direct is an ongoing series of announcements of Nintendo stuff that comes out. For example, they announced like Nintendo Switch games yesterday. Certain other things go on, but the biggest part from yesterday is that Nintendo announced they are going to have a feature-length animated Mario movie that comes out December 21st, 2022 in the United States. Mario creator Shigeru Miyamoto announced that during yesterday's Nintendo Direct. Timing elsewhere will be announced later, but yes, Chris Pratt will be playing Mario. That'll be fun. Anya Taylor-Joy will be playing Princess Peach. You might know Anya Taylor-Joy from The Queen's Gambit. Jack Black from School of Rock will voice somebody. I guess they haven't named who he is. I'm trying to read the article here, but there's a lot of fun that'll be in here as Jack Black will be Bowser. Luigi will be casted by Charlie Day from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. This is just going to be a star-studded animated cast, and I can't wait to watch the new Mario movie.
It's going to be a kids movie, or?
It's for everybody.
I mean, it's not going to be G. It'll be a PG movie.
They don't make G movies anymore. Well, I mean, maybe the very, very little kids. Yeah, this is probably going to be a PG movie. It's for everybody. Nintendo is a very big family-oriented company. They aren't really about making the mature games. They did the Wii. You remember the Wii? That was one of the biggest games.
I was involved with the rollout. Yeah. It's I know Nintendo crosses generations from Mario Kart now to the OG Mario stuff that we were playing back in college 30 years ago. But the idea of a cartoon movie for Mario Brothers, I think that doesn't really fit my viewing habits. Then again, I don't like the animated Marvel universe stuff.
Yeah, I can understand if you're not an animated person, if it's hard to watch animated movies, even if you hear they're good, you're just not an animation person, and that's understandable. For something like this, I can get behind it. For Marvel, I can get behind it. Although if you saw the most recent What If, I saw it last night, it was a little curious. Where are you going with this? And they dragged it out, and it seems that one might be the first one to have a sequel. But then again, they have not done that yet to this point. So it kept me hooked, although last night's was, or the one that came out this week was not my favorite so far. But yeah, I am a big fan of animations. But we'll see. December 21st, 2022, that's a long ways ago, and I can't wait for the first trailer. That'll actually be a movie that I'll watch the trailer and make a decision. They didn't release any still cuts of what the characters are going to look like. And
what's the release date?
I think December
of next year.
Yes, December of next year.
So it's coming out. It's their blockbuster Christmas movie. Yes. That's the movie that everybody's going to be sitting in movie theaters throughout the holiday break between Christmas and New Year's. So yeah, that's going to make a lot of money. I'll end up seeing it just because everybody else will be in the theaters too.
Oh, hey, how did I miss this? I'm continuing on the article. Keegan-Michael Key will be Toad. Seth Rogen from Superbad is going to be Donkey Kong. Kevin Michael Richardson is Kamek. I don't know who that is, and I'm a fan, so I'm not going to keep going. They're going into some obscure Nintendo characters now, but hey, that'll be a good time. I will watch that. I am a fan of Mario, and I am a fan of Chris Pratt. So there's a lot of funny guys in those people.
You think he can use the Italian accent without getting in trouble?
Oh,
I think he can do the Mario.
I'm Italian. I'm a quarter Italian. My mom's half Italian.
I'm just, is Chris Pratt?
I don't know.
Cultural appropriation is a
you're talking about Chris Pratt? I don't know.
I don't know if you're allowed to do that.
I could technically get an Italian passport. I cannot say that to Chris Pratt.
Well, I don't know if Pratt could. Maybe he can. I don't know. But are you allowed to appropriate a bad accent?
That's a good question. In today's PC culture, it's Mario though. That's something that you give Mario a pass.
I would have, but I'm not allowed to say whether you get to be offended or not.
You're not part of the angry Twitter mob that makes these decisions of people being offended.
The way I live by the axiom: if it offends you, hey man, it doesn't bother me that much, I'll stop. But I don't know when I'm offending you. And is that offensive to be a cartoon fake Italian accent? That's a decision to be made by other folks at other times. But I'm just curious. I know of a baseball announcer just the other day who was preparing for an Ohtani up and made a kind of a casual bad accent kind of statement. It was certainly it wasn't out of anger. It was just out of ignorance. And he paid the price, got suspended for a bit.
Yeah, he's still indefinitely suspended.
Mm-hmm.
I've been keeping an eye out to see if there's any resolution of that, but I think he's out the rest of the year. And that's, that's how it goes. You got to be careful these days. But for something like that, I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Again, we don't get to pick that,
true.
though. We don't get to decide whether it's a big deal.
Who gets to decide
that? Offended.
The offended. Yeah, well, I don't think the Italians are too offended by Mario. Although he's a Japanese-made Italian plumber that's really big in America. I don't. It's a very big conundrum. He's the rise of Mario is a very interesting story.
But for Mario, we don't have the video game idea and the culture that we do. But for Mario, way back in the early 90s, we don't have what we have now because of Mario and Nintendo. There's the industry isn't what it is, but for that game. No question about it. Let's do a real quick plug. We want to plug some guys that we met this week, Carl. The Dog Pound Dojo's got a huge wrestling card coming to the Woodlawn Gym over on Cincinnati. Beautiful old gym. Strictly Business is the card name. They got lots of big events coming up on Saturday. We gave away some tickets earlier today. You can get the tickets online at dogpounddojo.com, or it's $10 when you walk up to the door if you want the VIP meet and greet. That's $20 tickets. That'll start at 6 o'clock, first bell at 7:30. This is local San Antonio's national wrestlers as well. You want to talk about an intimate kind of gathering of wrestling fans. You'll get to meet NWA stars, Ring of Honor stars that are coming in to wrestle. Go check them out. This is San Antonio's offering a good family-friendly event. Again, that's tomorrow at 7 o'clock or 7:30. The bell will ring for Strictly Business. The Dog Pound Dojo will be in action over at the Woodlawn. I always want to say theater, the Woodlawn Gym.
I'll be out there.
I know. Carl's going to head out there and we had the best time with those guys.
It was a lot of fun seeing their training, and I'm really excited to see their show because the show is going to be big time. And I'm looking forward to it, and we'll see if they let me walk around with my camera. I might have to bring a camera with a better zoom range because I might want to make sure that my camera doesn't break if I'm filming the acrobatics they'll probably end up doing, or somebody gets flung from the ring and I happen to take a hit myself.
I think that you should, after this one, when they have the next one, we should be celebrity guest referees.
Okay, you want a referee? You don't want to be
a guy that gets down there and goes, 1, 2, oh, you're so close. Just two. I want to be that guy who turns his head and misses the guy that pulls out the anvil and bashes the other wrestler, and I turn around and it's gone, and I don't know what's happened. I want to be that guy.
You don't want to get hit by a chair?
Well, I'm willing to be hit by a chair, but I have to be able to hit somebody else.
Okay, that's fair.
So if I could go that route, it's going to be a lot of fun. I know that it seems like wrestling is not a sport that we talk about, and it's not. But when you meet the guys that are doing good deeds and taking care of stuff, you want to support them. Support local. Head out there on Saturday afternoon.
You know what I would sound like if you ever got hit by a chair?
So this has been 3 years.
It's been 3 years since Kawhi Leonard was dropped into Toronto, did a press conference. The world found out that he's a fun guy. And, you know, the best part about that is just the world's reaction to that 3-second sound bit.
Well, you put me now. Where did the laugh come from, and what was the circumstance where it was lifted? Because my brain, I can't remember how that appeared. I just know the memes that I'm now lived with for the last 3 years.
It wasn't even funny. He was just answering somebody's question, and he was like, I would tell you more, but I don't even know where you are. He was just looking at a whole sea of press people, and then I guess that got a little chuckle, and then all of a sudden he laughed, and it led to so many memes. I think my favorite was the Jurassic Park remix of it.
That doesn't hold a candle. That doesn't hold a candle to the NBA theme, which needs to be used from now on.
You sure? This is beautiful.
It's improving. But we need the full orchestra. You need the NBA theme as we get ready for the finals. Jurassic Park is good, but the NBC NBA theme, that's the way you go with Kawhi.
I don't even know where you're sitting at.
There we go. Now that puts you in the mind of the playoffs, right?
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Edwin. Thank you. Oh, that was gold. Yeah. Okay, so that one was a bit more produced traditionally. The Jurassic Park theme was very raw. No orchestra. You're right. If they added the orchestra, maybe that brings it out a little bit. Chris Gonzalez says an Express News reporter went up there. So yeah, it was
Tom Osborne.
Osborne that asked the question? Osborne asked the question?
He was up there. They sent him up there for the media day.
Oh, wow. Well, geez, I guess that means Osborne had his passport back then because, man, they deported him. Hey, cool. Hey, they got a good player. They got an all NBA second team player. They got Jakob Poeltl, who is an advanced statistics, analytics, just favorite player because every lineup he's in is effective. A lot of that's because of his screen assists. And then, best of all, in the Kawhi trade, the Spurs got Keldon Johnson. If he was going to leave in free agency, and the writing was on the wall that Kawhi was most likely going to be gone, the Spurs at least got a potential future all-star and what the Spurs hope to be a 10-year small forward out of the deal eventually with that 29th overall pick. Happy that Keldon's in town. You see him all over the place. He has been the most FaceTimed Spur that I have ever seen around San Antonio. Maybe it's social media era and everyone has a camera, but he's also out among the people, and love that. That's what we got out of the Kawhi trade. The universe giving us back Keldon Johnson.
Wow, and it felt karmic that Keldon has turned into what he's turned into. LeBron has been tweeting out and talking about his little mini camps, his workouts with his guys in Vegas and all these other places. And people take notice when LeBron talks. Behind the scenes here in San Antonio, Keldon Johnson's been working out over at Lanier High School pretty much since he got here, on and off. And, my son, Jack Thompson, co-host of the Saturday Morning Hangover, has gone and played with him at Lanier and some other places. He showed up at some AAU team practices, been very much part of the community. Well, Keldon did something even better. He's been using that Lanier gym, and we all know the situation that, San Antonio independent school districts are in. There's always a money crunch. It's hard to get the equipment that you need. Well, he donated one of those shooting machines to Lanier High School just as out of a kindness for being able to go and use that gym, and those guys taking care of him and opening up the gym late at night and doing all the stuff that professional athletes do. Well, he gave back to Lanier, and just another great story about a kid that was born to be a San Antonio Spur. We needed him. He's a cross between Sean and Tim. So you can feel the greatness coming, and certainly Sean was a great basketball player, but Sean was always the open guy. I remember 25 years ago, it was Sean that was doing the Keldon things now. That was out and about having fun with the community, and Keldon is doing it now. As we talk about the Spurs rebuild, the rebuild isn't just on the court. The rebuild is the relationship that the Spurs have with their fandom as they find new dudes that need to become part of our community. While Manu just signed a deal, he's still going to be around. We do have to find another show. We have to find our guys to fall in love with. And Keldon has been easy to fall in love with because he's with us. He's out amongst the community. The practice begins on Tuesday. The season is here. The NBA will begin on Tuesday as training camp begins. We will have a Spurs game in the AT&T Center in 2 weeks.
Monday.
It is here.
Monday. It's a week from Monday.
Monday.
We're talking Cowboys on Monday night, and then it'll be the Orlando Magic coming into the AT&T Center for the first preseason game of the year. I think I'm going to find out if I can get in there somehow or another and get us some good.
We have the ability to get credentials. We'll get you there.
Well, with the camera, we'll see if they'll let me get some film, because that's always a little
radio
iffy.
thing. You're exactly right. What's up, Dave?
Oh, Dave joining us on YouTube as well as everybody else. We appreciate you. However you're tuning in, whether it's sasportstar.com, that's always a good place to check out their Facebook Live, the YouTube feed, or my favorite, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Thanks for spending your midday break with us. I'm Carl Schoening. He's Rob Thompson. Edwin running the show. We're going to wrap it up here as we're almost at full time here on halftime. This is San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
The top teams, the thundering dunks, the last-second shots.
Fade away three, go!
Get the latest NBA preseason news, opinions, and analysis on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM. ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
The Houston Texans fell to the Carolina Panthers last night, 24-9. But the win might be costly to Carolina as they lost star running back Christian McCaffrey to a hamstring injury in the first half. The Texas MLB teams both took losses Thursday night, with the Houston Astros falling to the LA Angels 3-2. And the Texas Rangers dropping Game 1 of their series in Baltimore to the Orioles 3-0. This weekend in UTSA sports, the Roadrunners volleyball team starts conference play and has their home opener tonight against La Tech at the Convocation Center with the first serve at 7 o'clock. And UTSA football is on the road in Memphis to take on the University of Memphis Tigers in a battle of the unbeatens. That game can be seen on ESPNU with a kickoff slated for 2:30. For San Antonio Sports Star, I'm Carl Schoening.
If you think the COVID vaccine alone will protect you from the coronavirus, think again. As the deadly disease breaks through to people who are vaccinated, it's critical to take a reliable temperature reading with the Exergen Temporal Scanner. It's the only thermometer whose accuracy has been proven in more than 100 clinical studies versus the non-contact devices that have no supporting studies and produce a false sense of security. Vaccines are not enough, and thermometer accuracy matters. Learn more at Exergen.com.
If you think vaccines alone will protect you from COVID-19, think again. More breakthrough cases of COVID variants show that vaccinated people are still vulnerable to the deadly disease. Monitor regularly for fever, as it's the leading sign of COVID-19. Use Exergen, the only thermometer scientifically proven to detect fever. Protect yourself and your family with the Exergen Temporal Scanner. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Exergen is changing the way the world takes temperature.
Pro football season's here, and pro roofers save valuable time with Beacon Pro Plus. Beacon Pro Plus works 24/7 for material ordering, order history, and automated promotion tracking, so you can get your favorite GAF roofing products even when working remotely. And now, order on Beacon Pro Plus and get a $175 gift card and a chance for a VIP pro football getaway. Gear up and raise your game with Beacon Pro Plus today. Build, score, and win at BECN.com.
Hey, Cowboy fans, Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys and San Antonio Sports Star. We're throwing a big watch party for the Monday night game between the Cowboys and Eagles at I-10 Ice House. We'll start with a live broadcast of the Blitz starting at 4, and then watch the Cowboys take on the Eagles. Hourly drawings from 4 to 7 to win Cowboy game tickets, a Miller Lite Cowboys OtterBox cooler, Drew Pearson Hall of Fame standee, and other great prizes. And enjoy Miller Lite long necks during the game for just $2.08. That's Monday at 4 at the I-10 Ice House.
Blake Stevens with San Antonio-based GPS of Texas. If you have commercial vehicles on the road, you're a target for personal injury lawyers. I mean, you're wearing a bullseye. Our system can protect you if there is an accident with proof of speed, video monitoring, even proof that your driver wasn't on his phone. Don't get hammered. Have real proof that you weren't at fault by installing our GPS camera tracking system. Call GPS of Texas at 210-587-7634 or gpsoftexas.com.
It's that time of year again, and all eyes are now turning to football as teams are back on the gridiron. BetOnline.net is your #1 spot for all the pro and college football odds and news this season. Get all the updated info on players, teams, and odds to help you with your new football contests, leagues, and new survivor pools. BetOnline.net is the fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite sports, pro sports, MMA, championship boxing, golf, horse racing. They have it all. Bring the game home with BetOnline.net, where the game starts.
Your goals, your future, your dreams. These things are none of our business. Your symptoms, your work from home sweatpants, and whatever you were searching for at 1:15 a.m. That's really none of our business, because your life is private. And unlike other tech companies, we think your internet should be too. Oh, who's that from? That's none of our business either. Protect your privacy online for free with DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Ahoy! Yoo-hoo! Ahoy! 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 Ahoy!
In the name of the great Neptune, ahoy!
The tides can turn quick on the water. Progressive's boat insurance has you covered with basic plans starting at $100 a year. Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Annual premium for a basic liability policy not available in all states. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Howdy, San Antonio. Chip Ingram from the Roo Pub and the Angry Elephant, inviting you to come out and enjoy patio season. We have newly remodeled patios, garage doors, and everything else you need to enjoy this great South Texas weather. As always, ice cold beer and specialty drinks. Happy hours daily from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. and our kitchen is open from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. See you soon at the Root Pub and the Angry Elephant at 281 and Redland Road.
This is the place where time stands still. With each down is a battle of inches.
How about 83 yards from Prescott to Elliott?
This is San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
We've got the damn mic. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
I appreciate the energy, Key. That's right. We got the damn mic. I'm Carl Schoening. He's Rob Thompson. Edwin running the show back there as James Pledger takes a nap. Hey, have you ever met a legend that, or at least seen that somebody you know met a legend and wanted to be there with them maybe?
Depends on the legend.
I guess it does. You know, a friend of the show's Derek Pittman, the head coach of the UTSA women's soccer team. They're out in El Paso right now to take on UTEP for a conference matchup. And they got to hear from the legend himself, Neville Shedd, who back when UTEP was known as Texas Western, won an NCAA championship. And that was the first NCAA championship game with 5 black starters. And he was part of that group. And yeah, what a special treat that must have been for the young ladies of UTSA women's soccer. That is on my list. I understand he is very much entrenched here in San Antonio ties. So I want to meet him someday.
He's been part of the UTSA intramural program for years. You'd see him on campus forever. Just a legendary man. Neville Shedd is a good San Antonio. I don't know if he's moved back to El Paso. I know he went through and had a knee replaced in the last year. Just the opportunity to sit next and listen to the stories that Neville offers. If you're curious and want to find out about it, a movie was made of those 5, the Texas Western crew, with Don the Bear Haskins as their head coach. A movie called Glory Road. Neville Shedd is portrayed quite well in what is a moving story and a true one, as they take Kentucky down back in 1963, all white against an all black starting roster in Kentucky. And their former coach was a legendary, but also was a bit of a racist. And then as the story was told very appropriately, good movie, good man. You get to hear from Neville Shedd. You sit down and listen.
Yeah. Is there a legend that is living right now that you realistically at least have an outside shot somehow of meeting that's on your list?
You know, Carl, I've been lucky. Most of my heroes I've had an opportunity to meet because the job I do. They're very, you think of the guys that you want to talk to, and I've interviewed everybody from LeBron. I've never interviewed Steph Curry, though we've shaken hands. The moderns, the olds. I'm trying to think of somebody that I really looked up to that I never had an opportunity to speak with. I've tried to make those opportunities. So yeah, I've talked to everybody one way or another in the sporting world anyway. Now there's plenty outside that certainly I would like to meet. Who's the most famous guy you ever talked to or interviewed?
I've met Kareem and I've met Dr. J. Yeah. The one that I was thinking of for a legend that I would like to meet is Bill Russell. I was 12 feet away from him when he visited San Antonio several years ago. It might have been, I can't remember what year it was, but if you remember, there was a time when Tim Duncan did an interview, sort of a sit down with Bill Russell. It was that weekend. And I was like 12 feet away from him. And I wasn't going to force my way onto the Spurs court to meet Bill Russell. Probably would have been kicked out, but not met him. But yeah, that would have been fun. In fact, I've encouraged Bill Russell to run for POTUS because I think that would be a fun and good president. He is somebody that I would love to meet one day.
Just went into the Hall of Fame for the second time.
Yep, as a coach this time around.
Should have gone in. Well, it's funny. Did he get the Hall of Fame nod for coaching himself to the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, well, that's where the most success of him being a coach was when he was a player coach. Because his Seattle days weren't great by any means, but they weren't bad either. But obviously, when he was the coach of the Boston Celtics, they won a couple championships. They didn't win that first year in 67. That was Wilt that finally got over the hump. But then, what was it, 68 and 69? So the final 2 years that he was the player coach of the Boston Celtics, he won 2 championships. And yeah, then he went back to the West Coast roots of his as he went to San Francisco for college. He decided to coach the Seattle Supersonics, and I don't have his record right in front of me, but he was, that might have been the time that they were an expansion team as well, or not far from it. Yeah.
He was part and parcel of them getting the franchise up there. He was very much a Seattle type. I've interviewed Bill Russell. Nice man. Kareem, not a good interview. Tough guy to interview. I got him when he had just written a book about a platoon in World War II.
Oh, wow.
It was during the finals. All I wanted to talk basketball. All he wanted to do was talk book. And we never quite met in the middle. It was so what do you think about the Lakers? And he would tell me about the platoon going through Normandy. And what do you think about this? And I'd get another story about Normandy. He was not eager to talk basketball on a pregame show for a basketball game.
Oh, yeah, I can understand why that's how were you on the other side of town when that was going on?
Yes, I was.
Was that courtside of the SBC Center?
Yes, it was.
I might have been sitting right behind you when I met Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
That was right then.
That was right then. All right.
That was 2005.
Yep. Hey, geez, the funny things in life. Now I'm sitting across from you doing a show. This has been halftime. Wow. Well, that was when I met Kareem, and that was when you met Kareem.
Here we go.
All righty. Hey, I'm Carl Schoening. He's Rob Thompson. Edwin did a great job today running the show. We appreciate you guys tuning in to halftime. We're going to send you back to national radio, and then we got the Blitz coming up at 4. Enjoy your football weekend. Enjoy your Friday. And as we send you off to the second half, I'm Carl Schoening. He's Rob Thompson. Thank you all for staying in here. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
San Antonio Sports Star Pro Football Pick'em. Online at sasportsstar.com. Can you pick the perfect matchups all season long? If so, you could win $50,000.